about the film or something like that. All right, so this is
Yeah. Yeah, because I think it was swayed. It didn't let, but it's for me to try it again, like in.
All right. So we are back this week. For everybody following, it's been an interesting month that we had to take off for film festivals and finishing up last minute stuff. But as you can see, we are back. We're taking a different turn. We're actually talking to filmmakers that are in the middle of their film project or are in the film festivals right now. And basically because I really wanted to talk to these people. This week we have an awesome person who has actually been with me for a good minute. Actually, man, I met her before actually my first film. But we'll get into that right now. So for all you film noobs out there, welcome back this week. Let's get started. From I don't know how you see this, guys, left to right, right to left, up down. But Deborah, go ahead, start first. Introduce yourself.
Debra Martinez, the writer for Hype, producer, and I'm director.
All right, Rogelio.
Yeah, so I am Rogelio Zamora Chavez. I'm the director of photography for this project and also an executive producer. And we're excited to be a part of this project, Hide the movie.
Nice. Giselle?
Hi, I'm Giselle, and I'm the assistant director. And this is also my first feature film I am an assistant director for. So I'm very excited for this project.
I'm sorry, I had to take a little swig real quick. Man, all right. So going back to what I was saying, Deborah, we knew each other back when your kid was like 3 years old or something like that. She was in diapers. Evil Water, and then from there we kind of grew, and then we had our first feature film, Lores vs. Zombies. I had to throw that in there. That's why I'm wearing the shirt. So that's how I met you, Deborah. And you've been with us pretty much the whole time, and this is your first feature film project, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep.
Rogelio, I want to call you Rogelio because that's your actual company. But Rogelio, I met you when we were on the set of Sophie's what is it called? Bellator.
Bellator, yes.
Yeah. So we met there, and this is my first time getting to know you, Giselle. So this is going to be an interesting conversation.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So what brought this cohesive team together? Deborah, what made you bring this cool team together?
So dude, so I met Rogelio because of everybody knows her by Tiny Rocky B, which is Valerie Salazar.
Yeah,
she's one of the main actresses. Well, she told me, dude, you got to get Rogelio, he's the best, you got to. And then I was like, well, shit, let's see how much he charges, or what. And then I was like, so then I met up with Rogelio, and we gave him a little table read. Or it was more like a small table read, right? And then he liked it, and he took it on. And thank God, because it's fucking badass. It's like I'm in Hollywood sitting down in a fucking director's chair. I am though, but it's in San Antonio,
Hey, we got to start. Actually, you didn't just start anywhere. You actually just went from a writer to makeup department, and you said fuck all that shit and straight to director. So you just skipped everything in between.
Yeah.
And Rogelio, what attracted you to the actual project?
I think I loved that it was very funny. Horror has a huge, kind of spooky horror has a huge audience following, and there's people that are, devoted to just going out and watching these indie films, So I knew that there was, for one, there was a really good audience target. For two, it's very San Antonio. If you read the script, this has a lot of, like San Antonio touch of like the kind of like the chicas on the south side, attitude. And I think that was one of my favorite parts. And just being really genuine, I think, to San Antonio. And so again, aside from it being really funny, I thought that this would be a perfect project to kind of start kicking off the feature film. I definitely knew there would be challenges, but that comes with every feature film, even short films, right? So, but we got to kind of tackle it each shoot at a time, right? Yeah. Otherwise, we'll get overwhelmed. So that was the reason I decided to jump in on it.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is your actual first feature just regular feature film, right?
Correct. Yes, I've done some documentary filmmaking and feature length, and plenty of short films, but this is definitely the first full length feature film that we've been jumping in. We're a lot of short film aspects go hand in hand with it, but then a lot of things don't, like just the length of overall project, right? How long we're gonna have to be shooting. That's something that we've been learning a little bit about tackling. How can we effectively tackle the length of how many days we got to shoot, right?
Yeah.
But yes.
Now, Giselle, you have been with Rogelio for a minute, right?
Yes. And so we worked alongside in many projects. And I've definitely taken different roles depending on the projects. So I've been producer, I've been assistant director as well. And so generally I'll do more of the producing work on his end, but also assistant director. So it's just, it's pretty much I'm used to our work ethic, I guess, together. So so taking on this project was really easy to just jump in. And then I also love Deb's script. Like when I read, I was laughing. Even when we're filming, we're laughing. It's just a great it's a great project. As an assistant director, I have had to had some challenges with organizing everything, the scenes, just because of the format of the film. But the talent and everybody's great. So it's just been like so much fun to do the project.
Now, Debra, walk us through, because I remember when I first read the script, it was hide and seek. And I know you changed it a little bit, different iterations. Talk to me about that.
Like what do you mean?
Where it started to where it's now.
Well, it's changed a lot towards we added a sex scene. And remember I told you one day that I wanted to do a rated R? I said I'm gonna do rated R because that's what everybody wants. They gotta pop a boob out or something. So I said, fuck it, I'm going in and I'm writing that in. So I mean, it's gonna, I don't know, it's good. Like, I can't wait for y'all to see it because it's really good.
Well, like I said,
there's no negativity on set ever either. Like, it's very, everybody is very like communicating with each other.
Cool. Because like I said, when I first met you and I first read it, it was called Hide and Seek.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's Hide. So what made you do that? The whole, what went through when?
I guess so that way it wouldn't give out the whole story. Kind of like they told me just this friend of mine, Jerry Garcia, he told me when you told me hide, that you wanted to change it to hide, I said that sounds more scary, more bold. So that's why I went with it too. I changed it and changing the name to Hide instead of Hide and Seek. And there was already some other hide and seeks out there too.
Yeah.
Now, Rogelio, how much of the changes were you like hands-on about? Because like I said, I've seen where it first started. I don't know where the iteration right now, or how the film is now with y'all, because Debra won't tell me. So I'm kind of like I'll punch you up. But how much of that change have you been on board for?
I think a lot of it, all the changes that have happened have been mostly just logistically on the logistic side of the film, right? What can we realistically accomplish with close to zero budget, right?
Yeah.
As far as, and again, that's the challenges that every filmmaker faces, right? So, for example, not to be too vague in it, but just location, right? We had an idea of a specific location on the script, but given circumstances and the amount of shooting days and people's schedules and availability, we weren't going to be able to effectively find a place that was going to match what we needed with our flexibility that we needed. So we were able to find a location that we adapted the script to be able to let us have that flexibility. And either way, it's turned out pretty good, if not for the better. But aside from that, everybody's been great. And I know that before I was brought on board, there was just cast changes too, right? But aside from, again, but I wasn't part of that. But as far as my end, I have been able to, any changes has been just because of things.
You cut out right there, Rogelio.
You accidentally muted.
Sorry.
Say again.
But yeah, so the only changes that have happened since I first read the script has just been logistically.
Okay. And Giselle, now you said as an AD, what has been your biggest role with the film and or adapting it so far? Because I know Rogelio said something about there's been some cast changes.
Yeah, so I wasn't part of the cast changes, but I think more than anything, adapting so we're shooting overnight, specifically because it's a night film.
Yeah.
So that one becomes a little bit of a hurdle just because we have to work with everybody's schedule. And essentially, like everybody is not used to always working at night. So that definitely, becomes a little bit of a hurdle, adapting and making sure we can get people align with their schedules, like, if they have something going on during the day. And so like it takes a lot of pre-planning in that regard for the film, especially at night. And location wise, thankfully, the main location we've been focused in right now has been very flexible with us. So that's been great. But we have had a little bit of, I would say very minor details that we have had to adjust. Like for instance, windows. I know we had to adjust like a situation based on the building and the script. So it's been just like minor things that we just kind of have to at the moment make that call of like, okay, so this is not possible in this building, so let's just figure this out. But thankfully, we're a great team, and I've been very lucky because like Deb's great and everything, as a director and everything, and producer. So she adapts really well to changes, and she just makes it a lot easier for me to do my job and get everything moving and adapt to, we have to make some changes. Thankfully, like we all collaborate well with our creativity if there's anything that needs to be solved as a problem or an issue. And I think that's why this project is so much fun, because we all come together, we find the best option and solution, and thankfully nobody really, if it's something logical and makes sense, nobody like really gives us like a hard time about it, or is head set on certain ways. So that's been amazing with this team, that we've been all able to come together and agree on changes based on either logistics like Roger mentioned, or schedules, that because we've had the situation where somebody for instance wasn't able to make it because of a flight, so we had to readjust, but it was like everything worked really well where everybody collaborated, we adjusted, and we just rescheduled everything. But nonetheless, we didn't lose any like time for filming. So it's just been great to work with our team, because I think everybody just adapts and makes everything happen so we can at least use our filming day effectively.
Debra, what's been one of the biggest challenges, at least for adapting? Like Giselle was saying, you've had to change some of the scenes based on location or flexibility of the location itself. So what have been some of your biggest hurdles that you found as far as adapting your screenplay to the actual film?
I would say probably okay, so it was an upstairs and downstairs scene. So we had to cut that out. We moved that. We took that out. That would be the rest is pretty much good. Like we had a lot of little spaces that we were able to, that we're still able to film around in it to make it look like the building that I had envisioned or whatever. Because I had said it was a 2-story building.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so I changed that. I did change that out. Okay. Took it out.
Was that on set or was that previous?
That was a previous, because we couldn't find a 2-story building.
Okay.
So it was right before.
Nice. What has been some of the other hurdles that you've had to jump through or kind of adapt because of the difference in location or casting for you? Because I guess you were there for the casting. So what were some of the differences?
Only one of the girls I recast it, the first girl, because just she couldn't do the part that I needed her to do. She wanted to change her whole script. So I was like, no, I couldn't do that. But yeah.
So basically what you're saying, if I'm listening correctly, you had an actress that wasn't willing to kind of do
this was before I got the production company though. This was during table readings at my house.
Ah, okay. So this was really early on. Hello? You keep breaking up. All right, Debra's breaking up. So Rogelio, back to you. That way we'll let Debra's.
What was that?
Well, no, because you froze up on us. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So again, back to you now that you're back on. As far as like when you said the change happened when you were doing table reads, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So basically, what I'm trying to get to is because a lot of times,
because you know it from the first, right? You're right. Yeah. You know it from the first. So I have picked another actress that's probably the other actress you might have seen practicing with me.
Probably.
But she decided she couldn't do that part. So then I got Valerie, and then that's when, which is
Tiny. And she froze.
Tiny. And that's when she told me, hey, hello, to do this. Oh, I froze again?
Yeah.
Did I freeze?
Yeah, you're in freeze.
Am I frozen?
You're chopping up. No, you're not frozen no more. I'm talking to All right. So in a way, it was a kind of blind blessing that
it was
able to do it, because now you got Rogelio on and he's just badass. So you get it.
Yeah, for real.
Okay. Well, going back to dealing with because I know how the script went the first time we read it. And you've had to change it a little bit, but you changed it because of location and feasibility, not because of your actors, right?
Yeah, I changed it because of locations.
Okay. Because a lot of times, most directors, if they're the director writer, get really, really married to that script, and they don't want to change, and they don't want to be flexible, or like Giselle said, they don't want to communicate or actually be involved in the creative process to move the story forward.
Yeah, no, I'm very like flexible. You do what you got to do.
Flexible, yeah. As long as you don't start giving us examples of how flexible you are, I'm good.
And I think adding to that, lucky enough to have a pretty smooth operation as far as production goes. I think we're all on the same page as far as the vision. And they let me do my thing. I go in, we light it. And then, and funny enough, I do want to mention that Giselle is actually my sister. So both of us being on set, siblings, is always interesting, right? Because it could be a great thing or it could be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But at least we've been in a situation and we learned to adapt to, our thoughts. As an AD, as a assistant director, she has to try and be on schedule, right? And as a DP, I'm trying to light my shots, right? So there's always that little balance we have to kind of dance around with. And that is, how do we effectively stay on schedule, which we hardly ever do. While we, light the scenes as best as we can. So I think we've gotten pretty good at it. And sometimes we just got to compromise. Okay, do we keep going, or do we, light better, or do we just kind of like slow down a little bit or speed it up? So, but again, the actresses have been amazing, very flexible, very awesome. They're true professionals, and they delivered their lines so well over and over and over again that, we could be laughing at the jokes every single take. So, and I'm very grateful to be part of this project because it's a great opportunity for all of us. I think we can all exploit our own talent, right? Giselle, her AD, Debra, her directing, and I can go in and light my shots, all for a really funny and really cool script. So I think we're all together as grateful to be a part of this project.
Now I have to ask Giselle, and if you don't want to, it's okay, cool. I understand, because I'm gonna ask you to talk bad about both of these guys. How is it working as an AD? Because you're, and most people don't realize this unless you've been in the film industry. The AD has a lot of heavy work when it comes to shooting, because you're the mastermind of everything on set. The director, their job is only to worry about the fucking actors, and then of course your DP worries about how great his shot's gonna look, because that they have really narrow field of view when it comes to that. But your job is to juggle everything and make the director happy and keep the damn DP on track. But yet your DP happens to be your brother, and the director is a noob. So how do you deal with juggling both of these two guys without you going crazy and throwing something at them?
You know, I know, right? Yeah, thankfully, I haven't gone to that point where I wanted to throw anything at anybody. But no, you know, to be honest with you, I think first of all, the script being so great. I always compliment Deb on the script. I'm like, because I really enjoy like the script and like how well put together it is, and you know how well it flows. Really helps in my opinion, because when you have a good script, it's not that hard to, you know, arrange. I'm not gonna lie, it is a little tricky because of the way it's written, but it's the nature of the story, of that story, which works well. So it has required a lot of attention to detail. But I honestly, as long as I do my pre-planning, which to me is like the most important part, as long as my pre-planning is done correctly for the day of the shoots, I think that helps everything run super smooth. So I think for me, like the biggest thing is just making sure that I have my days planned out really well when we're going to be shooting, and making sure that everything is organized. Because I've noticed that, let's say, because we had the issue with like, oh, like, let's say, you know, an actor is going to get late or something like that, right? Things that you can't control certain days. I've noticed that as long as I know what I'm going to be shooting that day, like that's laid out, even if, let's say, they take a little longer or if somebody arrives late, I can rearrange my day knowing like really well how to adjust that. And so Deb, thankfully, you know, she's an angel. Like she works really well with like, she knows her script really well. So like it really helps me be able to also, whenever I make those, you know, like those things or adjustments, or even sometimes, you know, I'm gonna have a question about something, like she's so helpful with that. And she also knows how she wants her actresses to convey the story. So to me, she's been so helpful. And I think sometimes her being, you know, a new director also is like a blessing, because it also, you know, shows me that like, you know, sometimes some directors are very set on their ways that can be more of ego. And I feel like Deb thankfully does not have that ego, where she also commits to, you know, I want this vision, I want this to be done. And she understands like how, like, I feel like she, like, even though she's new, I feel like she understands the vision really well, which really helps me. And then Roger too, like, I know I have bumped heads with him a little bit, because I've been like, hey, like, you know, we gotta like move on, we gotta get this done. And but when I see the quality of how it's, you know, coming on screen, I'm just like, okay, I think we can compromise on things. But I'm not gonna lie, I think like the biggest part for me is just making sure that I'm very, very organized, because I think honestly sometimes that's very underestimated on like the power of being well organized. And when you're very well organized and you know what you want to shoot in that day, and you have somebody that like works great with you, like Deb and Roger, it just makes my life so much easier. And I think that's also why we haven't had like bumping heads, you know, because we're all respectful of each other and we understand like, or I guess what we're required to do. Yeah. But honestly, I do really appreciate that, because like my biggest thing is that I love that she doesn't come from ego. And I think sometimes in the industry, that's like the hardest thing to deal with. And Roger, I mean, not because he's my brother, but too, like, you know, he also doesn't come from ego. And I think we come together as, let's make this work. Let's do the best that we can. And it just makes like magic happen, because like Roger said, everybody shows like their skills the best that they can.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And Rogelio, as a DP, a lot of times the issue comes where the director has this great fucking picture in their head, and they see it clear as hell, but they can't convey that to their DP, and the DP sitting there like, I thought this is what you wanted, but this looks better. how do you deal with that? Again, being that Deb is new, and for her, I don't know how she works on set with y'all. You know, with me, I had to, you know, strangle her a couple of times, but no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, being able to convey from a director's point of view what's in your head to somebody sometimes isn't what gets captured. How do you deal with that?
I think usually it hasn't happened in this situation, but usually to avoid that, right, to avoid just miscommunication, we just like to kind of reference films or reference, you know, cinematography styles that they envisioned when they were writing it, or movies that they think could hold true to what their vision is like, right? So, for example, if let's say that she sends me the Saw movie, right? She wants it moody and dark. Okay, I get the idea. We want it to be really moody. We want it to be dark, not gory, but you know, grungy. So I think that's what kind of helps avoid that is in pre-production establishing that. Now, thankfully, the location we're shooting at has a lot of character to it, so it has a specific look, right? It looks like it's you know, like it's a place that you don't have to do a lot of set design for, right?
Yeah.
So that allows us to play with that, and we're kind of playing with what we've got. We adjust things as needed, but if we see that we want to maybe make it messy or something, then we go ahead and do that if needed. But again, we haven't had any of those situations happen yet so far, and we're well into the production itself, so that's been great. But usually to avoid it is just in pre-production talk about the what we're wanting to do, right? The expectation of how we want the film to look. And then luckily we do have a lot of lighting available, that we have a lot of, you know, setting up possibilities and camera tools that I know not a lot of people have, so we have that in our benefit too. That's helped a lot, being able to get specific shots and things that we want to play with.
Cool. And Debra, how has it been as first-time director?
It's been good. It's been really great. Like Giselle, like she said, she's got everything. It's like if she's the one running, like you said, they're the ones doing everything. Like she's been 100, you know?
Yeah.
And Rogelio too. Rogelio too, don't leave him out.
Man, forget Rogelio. He's just the DP.
But Giselle, dude, yes. But Giselle, she's been 100, dude.
How long was y'all's pre-production?
I think it's ongoing, yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to point out that, like,
said you're in middle production.
No, I do want to point out that Deb being producer has really helped with her vision a lot and has made our lives easier because she did choose the location. So essentially, she knew that that could convey her vision of the film. So, like, for us, like, knowing that she picked because how can I say, like she knows her vision really well, that like it has made it easier for us because we're not, you know, trying to guess what she wanted. So like the producer part of her really helps her director style, because it's like it's so easy for us to convey the film in the location she chose because it has the character, and also, like, you know, with the actresses, like what she wants. I think she cast it really well with like the actresses because they truly convey like her characters the appropriate way. So I just feel like that really helps her also, like, you know, I think as a first-time director, like, do a great job because she already has, I guess, the main key items that a producer sometimes has problems conveying with a director, that like all comes together. And I think that also gives her a big asset as a director to help us with the film and understand her vision clearly.
Man, Debra, I don't know how much you paid them, but they're talking a lot. What's been the hardest day for y'all?
So
no hard day, no.
I know you're lying.
I think the overall difficult part of it, again, it's not that it's a hard day or anything. I think that the difficult thing is that we shoot overnight, right?
Yeah.
Usually, and so it changes everybody's schedule because, you know, a lot of the actresses, they work at like 6 a.m. some of them, right? So we gotta make sure we plan accordingly to make sure we let them sleep at least some. So I think the biggest challenge has just been how it's overnight shoot, and if we're shooting 2 or 3 days of, you know, in segments, we go back to a regular work schedule, which is just, which is never really a schedule. It's just all over the place, but definitely not overnight. And so that'll mess with us. Like we'll be waking up at 3 p.m. on a Tuesday, and we have a shoot, like a whatever. So, or we finish wrapping shooting at 5 a.m. and then we have a shoot at 8 a.m. in Houston, right? So that has happened in while shooting Hyde. But again, it's part of the filmmaking aspect of it. Is there's going to be sleepless nights, and you just kind of have to begin with the end in mind, see the overall picture, and then once you're sitting in a theater screening it, and the audience is laughing and or getting spooked, it's all well worth it, because nobody's going to think about how many days y'all shot. They're just thinking about the film of what's happened, right? So that's what we have to ourselves is like, what matters is that the audience has a good time when they're watching this film, and that helps us push forward.
I want to say the first day because, but not because it was like, a bad day, but because it was like our first day on set. We were all kind of, getting to know each other. We were kind of seeing with the flow, but we shot at a bar the first day. And we had a lot of people that wanted to be extras. And I think we ended up somebody ended up getting kind of in an argument, and some people were complaining. And that was on its own, it was a little challenging in that. I mean, we're still able to get everything done that we need to get done, but I think that was a little challenging with the people that, sometimes people they get very excited when they see a camera. So we had some of those, and yeah,
it was in the camera.
Yes, I know we had.
What was that?
No, you said a comment right now when.
Yeah, I said they were staring in the camera.
Oh.
Oh yeah, they were.
Don't look in the camera. They looked in the camera.
Was this your extras?
Yeah.
No.
Well, no, they weren't our extras.
It's because we were shooting in a bar, and there was an actual, what's called clients or people, drinking.
Oh, so y'all hadn't cleared the bar at all. Y'all were shooting while the bar was still open.
Right.
Oh man.
And then we had a particular lady that was very passionate about her little darts game. And we had to kill the music at the bar. She wasn't happy about that. So there's I think she ended up walking out of the bar angry, but I'm sure she's back. I'm sure she's still playing her cards.
The dart master.
But speaking of that same night, I did have to get home, pack with the same camera, break it all down, because I was flying the next morning at 6 a.m. to Amsterdam. I had a shoot over there in Amsterdam. So I think that was one of those sleepless nights I was talking about, right? But I slept all the way to Amsterdam.
Nice. Hey, that's the only way to do it, man. You sleep on the plane. Oh, fuck it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
What has been one of y'all's best nights?
Every night.
Every night. Oh my
Yep.
I'm gonna. That's it. We're done. We're done with this damn. I need some gossip.
I want drama.
I want drama. Okay, now y'all are the no, but okay. So for real, what was one of the best nights y'all had? Everything went perfect, and you're like, no, this can't be it. We're on time. Come on, Giselle. There's got to be that one night you're like, fuck, everybody's on time. Everybody's even Rogelio, behaving. You're not relighting everything.
Actually, you know what? I guess just talking about experiences, there was one time I had a shoot downtown for a different project, and I told Giselle, I was like, hey, you're gonna have to drive the truck and the trailer to the this is our first time ever. And it's a 1 hour drive in traffic. Dude.
Wow.
Luckily she made it.
I'd never driven the trailer, and Roger's like, you can do it. I was literally oh my gosh. I was a little scared. I don't think I'd ever been scared about driving the trailer, but yeah, that was, but hey, I got there safe and sound, and then I was like, okay, I'm not driving this anymore. But production, sometimes there's things that you have to do to get it done. And I think sometimes when you're in production and part of the production team, that you have to step it up and be like, okay, we're gonna get this done. I gotta step it up. And hopefully make it through.
So, Debra, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right, yeah. For you, what has been the best part of the whole process as a director?
Me, the best part I would say was getting the production company. Because, dude, everything is smooth.
Yeah.
Smooth sailing here.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It is. I'm telling you, Giselle does everything. I'm just like, okay, I like it this way. It's like, dang. I never felt like this on LBZ shit.
You an actress. Oh man, throw me under the bus. I see how we are. Throw me under the bus. You know what? I was gonna bring you back for part 2, but then I'm gonna bring Giselle and Rogelio.
Only if we huh?
Go ahead.
I would say only if we bring drama.
Yeah, free drama. I can't have this happy-go-lucky, production. That's not a real film production. Now, how much more do y'all have left on the film?
Wow.
Realistically, I want to say at least 5 to 7 more days of filming.
Okay.
Yeah,
that would be Hollywood realistic.
Yeah. But we're hoping to be able to. So right now the holidays are coming up, so we're pausing filming for all that reason. But based on everybody's schedules, we're hoping to shoot it close to the end of January, and usually that's a slow month for production and everything. So hopefully we can get everybody on board and finish all those days end of January. So that's the goal, and that way we can start post-production or finish post-production within 2 months of that. So that's the goal.
Nice. 2 months for post?
Yeah. Well, I'm already going to start piecing everything that we have already together. And
we need to talk.
so
we need to talk.
I want to say that we have at least half of it shot, maybe.
Okay.
So we're going to use that, put everything together, layer things out from what we do have. So in case we have anything we want to change in the meantime, we can still do that. And then finish off everything else.
Okay. As far as continuity, because you're taking such a big break in between, Giselle, talk to me about that.
Well, it's not that difficult because what I've been doing when I arrange the scenes, I usually shoot things that can't really be affected with shooting it later. I mean, the girls are wearing the same thing. So for like the scenes that we're shooting, because right now we're still shooting in the building, which is where most of the film takes place.
Yeah.
So really it's just more of that. So, but scenes that, for instance, like could change something. So I'm grouping it because it's kind of hard to explain the script. You've read it, right?
Yeah, I've read it.
The script. Yeah. So like there's scenes where, the girls are, let's say, hiding or whatever. So like I try to shoot them continuously where their scenes are shot all together. So pretty much the way I've been shooting it is like, or scheduling the shoots is where things that could change, I don't shoot because like, like something could change on them so that those scenes look good. So really it's not that complicated in that regard because they're wearing the same thing, and like really we do the hair the same way. So in that regard, the good thing about it is that like, because it's the same location and essentially the rooms may change, but I shoot the same rooms at once, it doesn't really affect much, but we do take a lot of pictures just in case something could change. But I think the biggest thing would be if we were to shoot like exterior scenes or things like that where it could maybe change things, but those we haven't, like the last details we haven't really shot just yet.
Yeah.
So I don't think it should affect us much just because I'm focusing on shooting them together. Like where if something could change, it would only be for that one scene.
Nice. Makes sense. Yeah, grouping them. So Debra, going back to you, as far as like with when you're working with some of these girls as a director, because this is something that we had to deal with Sacred Masters last time around. When we take such a big break, we have to kind of revisit a lot of the emotional, mental state that actress was in at that point to get them back into where we need to be, back into where the scene is on the script. How have you dealt with some of that stuff?
Actually, the actresses that I have, They get into character. They just go through their lines and get right back into character. Yeah, they just get right back into character. So they're really good actresses.
Yes, absolutely.
It's like you found
It's
the
like
gold
we're
mine, Debra.
perfect.
You found the gold mine, man. You're like the best scenario ever for a first time director. You have picked it. Rogelio, what have y'all been shooting on?
We've actually been shooting on Red B Raptor, which is the latest and greatest red camera that they have out there in the market right now. So that helps a lot because low light is a lot better than the older Red. We're shooting full frame, which also contributes to low light. Yeah. And we get to, I think we're shooting it 6K if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. That's my standard usually whenever I'm shooting. Allows us for post-production to be able to export at 4K. Yeah. And look, surprisingly, we've shot the entire film so far on a 35 millimeter lens. So we haven't really switched.
Was that a creative choice or was that just happy?
I think that
accident.
I am happy. So basically, the 35 millimeter lens on a 6K cropped in because the crop. So red, the way the red works is 8K you get full frame. Yeah. When you go to 6K, it punches you in. So the lens is equivalent to a 50 millimeter lens almost on a 6K sensor format, right? So in theory, we're shooting about 50 millimeter sort of depth, and that allows for a nice neutral zoom length, and it contributes to the shots being very, very nice as far as not too wide, not too tight. But there are occasions where we're in a really tight room where I do go up to 8K, so I can shoot the whole, the space, and then we'll just scale it down in post. But it's helped a lot with just speeding up the process of everything. And we're shooting on a Canon ENE lens, opens up to 1.2 stops, which allows a lot of light in and a lot of that depth of field on there. So really it's been it's been a trooper lens for sure. And so it's been the production aspect of it, as far as equipment, has been very, very good for this feature film. I think, especially we want to put it on the big screens, right? It'll look great.
Yeah, if you're shooting at 6K with red, definitely. It's just interesting that you managed to shoot pretty much everything on one lens, because most people have. Well, I don't know, because I tend to kind of lean towards that 35. I just like the look of it. From time to time, depending on the shot, I will open up to a 24. And then the close-ups really punch it in with a tight zoom. But yeah, to shoot most of your film on an actual 35, that's I'd like to see some of that. If you don't mind, send me some of the just stills. That way I can look at them. That'd be badass.
We'll have to run it by Deb.
Yeah, you have to run it by Deb. Debra, what's the ultimate goal? I know Rogelio said end of January, 2 months post-production. Now put you at February, March, April looking. Are you looking at the festival run, or are you going straight into like, fuck it, I'm going to go distribution, or what's your ultimate goal for the film?
Honestly, I don't know yet. I don't know yet, but for sure film festival. And then I mean, maybe we can sell it. I don't know. You never know, right?
Yeah, never know.
Yeah, I think we definitely want to see the overall end project.
We can be I don't mind being.
So what?
I don't mind being that one-hit wonder. No, right, Rogelio?
Well, I hope not. Especially if you have a really good project.
We don't mind selling it and then retiring off of that.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what? If that dream comes true, I quit, and that just at that point, Debra would have hit every single goal that every independent filmmaker wants to hit on their first film. You have a great cast and crew. Freaking have the film written out completely perfectly to where everything works well. Locations are locked in. you're shooting it on these badass cameras. You know, if you hit the jackpot and sell it, Debra, we're done. We're not friends no more. Next project for y'all.
As far as feature films, we do have some in the books with just some projects, but the whole writer strike and actor strike kind of pushed those out. So I'm still not 100% sure on what it's about because we haven't read the script. So, but we've already been technically in theory hired for that. And then we do a lot of corporate commercials. So there's always that in the books, right? We're working on a documentary in December in Puerto Rico. So we're going to be doing that. And then who knows what's to come in 2024, right? So we had a big adventurous year, 2023, and then we'll see where festivals or whatnot take us.
Nice. Giselle?
Yeah, so I'm pretty much with Roger on we actually, he did mention a project, so there is a project that I'm also going to be ADing with him, that, you know, somebody else, because we did a short film with that producer, so essentially we're looking at potentially working on that project, and I'm also going to be working on the Puerto Rico documentary that I'm going to be alongside him. So yeah, so we're excited. We do work also in short films. Sometimes those projects will pop out, but right now that's kind of what's on the books for now.
Yeah. And you, Ms. Debbie Deb?
Well, I have, I already have some other films that I have here, written. Yeah. So I wanna continue with my next one up in Mexico.
Up in Mexico. Yeah, I remember that one. That one should be good. That one was funny.
Yeah. That one's really good, dude.
Yeah. Now,
but yeah.
Forget what else I was like, where can we find y'all's work or sample, or how can we contact y'all? You got a few minutes to just talk about yourself and your company.
Yep. So for my company, it's Raji Productions, after my name, Roger Rogelio. So you can find us on Instagram at Raji Pro, or our website is rajipro.com, and that's or ROGYPRO.com, and that's where I'm at.
Okay. And we can find all your previous work on there, or links to your work?
Plenty of work. Not everything's on there. A lot of it's just like, a lot of our work is published unlisted, right, for clients and whatnot, but we do have a good amount of stuff in there, I think, that's still pretty, you can tell our quality or see what we do.
Giselle?
Oh yeah, and so I guess I don't have a website, but I do work along Roger with Raji Productions, so some of our work is there. My Instagram is at Divine Giselle, DI as in Victory, INEGISELL. And I post sometimes on the projects that I work there with Roger or in Raji Productions too.
Okay.
But yeah, I need to work on a website.
I think Deborah's gonna go to the restroom. Deborah, I know this is not a family show, Deborah, but where can we find your stuff, Deborah? Where can we find your stuff? Oh, you're freezing up.
Oh. So I'm on Facebook. It's over there. Did I freeze?
Yeah, you froze. So we can find you on Facebook?
Yeah.
Under what name?
Yeah, on Facebook. I have Instagram, but I really don't on Instagram.
Okay.
But mostly on Facebook.
All right. And what's the name on Facebook?
Debra Martinez.
Debra Martinez.
And then we have a Hide page too. Well, it's called Hide, and right now they have it under Hide and Film.
Hide and Film?
Or something like that. Right? What is it, Giselle?
Giselle, you're muted.
Sorry, yes, it's Hide and Film because of the name, but so that's the fan page that we have for it. But it is Hide and Film. and then in parentheses it says hide. So if y'all can like search for it, and you'll see there.
Cool.
We post our Deb posts like shares our pictures of when we're on set and things like that, and I'm sure any announcements about the film will be shared there.
Nice. So anything else, y'all? Shout outs or thanks or anything like that?
Yeah, I want to shout out to my crew. We put them through hell and back. So yeah, shout out to Billy, shout out to Martha, shout out to Clay, shout out to Luis, Madeline. Oh yeah, Billy brings his girlfriend along all the time, and she's awesome. Madeline, they're great. And what else? It's some people. We it's a smaller crew, but we get the job done, which is the important part.
Nice.
Yeah, and of course the actresses, they're doing an amazing job. They really bring it all, and it's just amazing. So shout out to our talent, that they're amazing too.
Yeah, shout out to Giselle for doing a good job. For real, it's 100, I said. And Rogelio, his whole crew, the actors, the actresses.
And
my brother Jacinto for letting us use his building. Yeah.
So he's been very, very accommodating for sure.
Yeah, and to Deb, because if it weren't for Deb, we wouldn't have this amazing project. So thank you, Deb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No drama.
No drama.
No drama.
But there's goats and chickens, dude.
You know what? I'm gonna put that on there. I'm gonna put on there is like no drama, but there's goats and chickens. What's up, it?
And a pig.
And a pig.
Y'all could have told me that story. As a matter of fact, we have a few minutes. Tell me that story. What is this whole goat, chicken, and pig story?
Well,
so my brother, he has a ranch out there, and that's where his building is. It's like it looks like a what do they call it? Trailer home put together, right? Kind of.
Okay.
And so outside in the back, he's got a shooting range. He's got a thing of chickens. He's got pigs. He's got goats. He's got dogs. He's got it all.
Oh, guys, this is really funny. But one time we closed his gate, and one of the dogs was outside, and we were kind of feeling guilty that we left the dog outside. But it turns out that the dog actually can fit through the gate, so he would get in and out, and we were so worried about that.
Well, I just want to say, Zoe locked him out. We didn't lock him out.
I didn't realize it until somebody sent a picture, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then the next day we get there, and the dog goes in and out like nothing. I was like, "Oh my goodness!"
But again, your job as the AD, everybody has to hate you, including the dog.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, again, guys, I really do appreciate you coming on board, and I will probably speak again once we get closer to actual post-production, or even if you're still doing pre-production on post-production, Rogelio. Until then, guys, keep watching film, man. Keep an eye out on Debra. Like I said, when I first met her, she was a writer, producer on a short, and that was just like, what, 4 years ago, 5 years ago? And now she's directing her first feature film. Again, with Rogelio, I've seen his products, and they look badass. He's a really awesome cinematographer, creative, badass person. Giselle, thank you for. I've just met you today, and from what Debra tells me, I need to hire you because
Yeah.
And again, till next week, film noobs. Keep on watching films, guys. All right.
All right.
Next time.
Thank you for having us.
Wait, hold on one second. I'm gonna take a selfie real quick. So everybody smile at the camera. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I literally. That's
one more for safety. Ready? 3.
Oh my goodness, typical.
Yeah. Here goes 3. 3, 2, 1. Good. Perfect. That's great.
Do we get a safety for the safety?
Thank you for having us, David.
No problem. I had fun. But next time I need more drama. Either way, guys, thank you for coming on board, and we'll see you hopefully in a couple months when y'all are done, and we can talk a little bit more, man.
All right.
Awesome.
All right,
Good.
thank you guys.
Bye.